They say you can't miss what you've never had, but I've spent my entire life missing two people I never got the chance to know. My name is Chen, and this photograph sat on my grandmother's nightstand, my only window into the parents I'd never know. My mother's bright eyes, my father's gentle smile, both frozen in time before the rain-slicked highway stole them away when I was only 8 months old. "They loved you more than anything," Grandma would say, her weathered hands smoothing my hair. "They worked so hard, saved every penny, made sure you'd be taken care of." She wasn't lying. My parents, both rising executives at Chen Corporation, had been meticulous planners. The properties, the investments, the trust fund, all carefully orchestrated to give me the life they'd never see me live. "When you turn 24, Grandma told me on my 18th birthday, her voice suddenly serious, "there's a substantial trust fund. But promise me, Leo, tell no one, not until you're ready. Money changes how people see you." I promised, not understanding then how prophetic her words would be. Riverside Preparatory Academy was everything Grandma's careful planning had bought me, and everything I'd learned to navigate. The school's unspoken caste system was as rigid as any ancient empire. The elites occupied the West Lawn, their designer uniforms subtly altered to show wealth, a watch here, custom shoes there. The middle class clustered in comfortable mediocrity. And then there were the scholarship students, brilliant but invisible, haunting the library like academic ghosts. I existed in a strange limbo, comfortably provided for, but without the generational wealth that bought social currency. It was a Tuesday in March when everything shifted. Marcus Chen, yes, that Chen family, the same company my parents had worked for, stood surrounded by the same boys who used to orbit him like moons, but now they were predators, and he was prey. Guess the jailbird apple doesn't fall far from the criminal tree. "How does it feel, Marcus? Daddy finally got caught with his hand in the cookie jar?" Marcus's father had been arrested for embezzlement. Overnight, the Chen fortune had evaporated, seized by authorities. The boy who'd once ruled the social hierarchy now stood alone, his eyes hollow with shock. I didn't plan what happened next. My feet simply moved. "Stop." The word cut through the courtyard like a blade. Heads turned. I walked forward, my heart hammering, until I stood between Marcus and his tormentors. "You think this is funny?" I looked at each of them. "You think you're immune? We're 17 years old. You have no idea what tomorrow brings. Your father's company could collapse. Your family could lose everything. Life doesn't care about your last name or your bank account." I turned to the crowd that had gathered. "Marcus's situation should teach us something. We're all one bad day away from being on the other side of the circle. Maybe instead of tearing each other apart based on who has what today, we could just be decent to each other." The silence that followed was deafening. Then someone in the back started clapping. Then another. Within days, something miraculous happened. The invisible walls began to crumble. Alexander Zhao approached me a week later. I'd seen him before, of course. Everyone had. Tall, impossibly handsome, from a family so influential they had wings of hospitals and libraries aimed after them. He moved through school like a prince through a kingdom he found tiresome. "I've been waiting for someone to say what you said for 3 years, he told me, his storm gray eyes intense. "Do you know how exhausting it is? People pretending to like you because of your surname? Never knowing if someone wants to know you or know your connections." He smiled then, transforming his features from aristocratic to warm. "I want to be your friend, Leo, your actual friend, if you'll have me." I would. God help me, I would. The first time Alexander brought me to the Zhao estate, I understood the magnitude of the world he inhabited. The mansion wasn't just a house, it was a statement of power rendered in marble and glass. The circular driveway could have fit my entire apartment building, columns framed an entrance that belonged in a museum. Inside, crystal chandeliers hung like captured stars, their light dancing across floors so polished I could see my reflection. "The East Wing is my parents'," Alexander explained casually, as if everyone's home required geographical directions. "West Wing is my uncle's family, my sister has the South Wing, I'm in the North." His wing was larger than most houses. Floor-to-ceiling windows overlooked gardens that looked hand-painted. His bedroom alone could have hosted a small wedding. But what struck me most wasn't the opulence. It was how Alexander moved through it all with indifference, as if the wealth were simply wallpaper. His eyes only lit up when he looked at me. University arrived, and with it the shift from friendship to something neither of us could name but both of us felt. It happened in quiet moments, his hand lingering on my shoulder, my pulse racing when he smiled. The way conversations would trail off as we stared at each other, words becoming insufficient. "You're so beautiful," he said one evening, his voice rough. "People stop and stare at you. Do you know that?" I said, "You stare at you too," but my cheeks burned. We were both beautiful, I suppose, in different ways. Alexander had the classical handsomeness of old Hollywood, sharp jaw, piercing eyes, the kind of face that belonged on magazine covers. I was softer, prettier, with delicate features that made people do double takes, uncertain. Both genders, I joked once. I apparently have universal appeal. Alexander didn't laugh. "He don't like when people look at you that way." Our relationship began with fireworks and descended into suffocation so gradually I didn't notice until I couldn't breathe. It started sweet, his jealousy seeming like protectiveness, his possessiveness feeling like devotion. He assigned me one of his bodyguards, claiming it was for my safety. The guard's real job became clear when Alexander would casually mention conversations I'd had, people I'd spoken to. Who was that person in the library? Why were you laughing with your project partner? You don't need other friends. You have me. The cage bars were made of love, which made them invisible until they were unbreakable. Grandma fell ill in winter, pneumonia that her 80-year-old body couldn't fight. I held her hand as she slipped away, her final words barely whispers. The trust fund, Leo. 24, you'll be secure. Promise me you'll be happy. Marry your Alexander. Be happy. I promised through tears, not mentioning that happiness had become complicated. After the funeral, Alexander found me in my empty apartment, truly empty now, without Grandma's presence making it home. You can't stay here, he declared. You're alone. You have no one, no income. Come live with me. Alexander, I can manage. How? His voice was sharp. How will you manage? Leo, you're an orphan with no family and no money. My family has already agreed. You'll move into my wing. I should have told him then about the trust fund, about the financial security waiting for me, but Grandma's warning echoed. Tell no one. And somewhere in the broken part of me that had lost everyone I loved, I wanted to know if Alexander would stay if he thought I had nothing. I moved into the Zhao mansion. The Zhao family accepted me with surprising warmth. Alexander's mother treated me like a future son-in-law. His father barely noticed me, which felt like a blessing. His sister May found me amusing. Alexander and I fell into domestic rhythm, eating together, studying together, sleeping together. It should have been perfect. That's when the snacks started appearing. Try these, Alexander would say, pushing pastries towards me. You're too thin. You need to eat more. At first, I was touched. Then it became insistent. Then it became mandatory. Come on, Leo. One more slice. For me? Junk food appeared everywhere. By the bed, in my bag, on my desk. Chips, cookies, cakes, sodas. When I refused, Alexander's face would darken. You don't love me enough to eat what I give you? So I ate, and somewhere along the way, the forced eating became compulsion. The sugar highs and crashes became a cycle I couldn't break. My body began to change, slowly at first, then drastically. 20 pounds, 40, 60. Maybe slow down on the snacks, Alexander would say now, his voice laced with disgust at what he'd created. His friends were less subtle. Damn, Leo, what happened to you? Dude, you've really let yourself go. Remember when you used to be hot? And Alexander would laugh. Laugh. I'd catch glimpses of myself in the mansion's many mirrors and not recognize the person staring back. My health began to suffer, breathing problems, joint pain, the doctor's concerned warnings, but I couldn't stop eating. The addiction had taken root. I'm going to London, Alexander announced one evening. Master's program, 2 years. Father's orders, I need to learn the business. My stomach dropped. 2 years? He said, we'll make it work. Video calls, texts, it'll be fine. It wasn't fine. The first few months we talked daily, then weekly. Then the messages became sporadic, his responses shorter. Then one day I realized he hadn't called in 3 weeks. I tried to reach him. Every platform showed the same message. You have been blocked. My hands shook as I created a new account, my heart already knowing what I'd find. There he was. Alexander's Instagram, full of pictures from London. Alexander at galas. Alexander at restaurants. Alexander with his arm around a petite blonde woman with a dazzling smile. I scrolled through comments with numb fingers until I found it. What happened to that pretty boy you were with, Leo something? Alexander's response was a knife between my ribs. Oh, him? Just a poor orphan boy my family was helping out. We fed him so well he got greedy. Ate himself into obesity. Last I heard he was as big as a house. Some people just can't handle charity gracefully. I read it 3 times. Then I closed my laptop, walked to the bathroom, and stared at the stranger in the mirror. Then I cried until I had no tears left. The next morning, I woke up different. Not healed, healing would take time, but decided, determined. I was 2 months from my 24th birthday, 2 months from accessing the trust fund Grandma had protected for me, 2 months from freedom. I started walking, then jogging, then running. I threw out every piece of junk food in Alexander's wing, in what I still thought of as our space, though it had never truly been ours.
I found a therapist who specialized in eating disorders and trauma. You were systematically manipulated, she told me gently. What he did has a name. It's a form of abuse. Hearing it named helped. I joined a gym with a trainer who understood my health complications. Slow and steady, Maria would say. This isn't about punishment. This is about reclaiming yourself. The weight came off gradually, healthily. 20 pounds, 40, 60. As my body transformed back, so did my mind. On my 24th birthday, I walked into the law office Grandma had specified in her will. The lawyer, Mr. Park, smiled kindly. Your grandmother was a remarkable woman. She wanted to ensure you'd be secure. He slid papers across the desk. My eyes widened as I read the numbers. The properties my parents had purchased had appreciated enormously. The investments had grown exponentially. The trust fund wasn't just substantial, it was generational wealth. You're a very wealthy man, Leo, Mr. Park said. Your grandmother's only condition was that you use it wisely and find happiness. Then he paused, his expression growing soft with emotion. There's one more thing. Your grandmother left video messages for you. She recorded them over the years, to be given to you at specific moments in your life. This is the first one, for your 24th birthday. He handed me a USB drive with trembling hands. That night, in my hotel room, I couldn't bear to spend one more night in the Zhao mansion, I plugged in the drive. Grandma's face filled the screen, younger than I remembered from years ago. She must have recorded this when I was still in high school. Hello, my precious Leo. Her voice cracked through the speakers, and I immediately started crying. I'm so sorry I couldn't stay longer, my darling boy. I tried so hard to stay for you. She wiped her eyes, composing herself. I need to tell you something I've kept secret your whole life. Something about the night your parents died. My breath caught. Your mother, she called me that night. They were driving home from a company dinner. It was raining so hard. She said, Mom, we just left. We'll be there in an hour. We can't wait to see our baby boy. We can't wait to hold him. Grandma's voice broke. That was the last thing she said to me. We can't wait to hold our baby boy. An hour later, the police knocked on my door. A drunk driver had crossed the median. Your father swerved to avoid a family in another car. He saved 4 lives that night, Leo. 4 people lived because your father chose to protect them instead of himself. Your parents died heroes. I was sobbing now, clutching the laptop. But here's what I never told you, she said. The family your father saved, they had a 6-month-old baby in the back seat, a little boy. Your father saw that baby and made his choice in a split second. One baby would lose his parents or another would. Your father chose to save that other child. The room spun. I met that family at the funeral. They were devastated, grateful, broken. The mother couldn't stop crying. She kept saying, he saved my baby, he saved my baby. I never told you because I didn't want you to carry that weight, the knowledge that your father traded his life for another child's future. Grandma leaned closer to the camera. But now you're a man, and you need to know that you come from people who valued life above all else. People who made impossible choices out of love. Your father didn't hesitate. Your mother didn't scream at him to save themselves. They saw another family and chose compassion in their final moment. She smiled through tears. You've always had that same heart, Leo. Even as a little boy, you'd give away your toys to kids who had none. You'd stand up for anyone being hurt. You got that from them, from your parents, who I only got to love for a few short years, but who left me the greatest gift, you. The trust fund, the properties, all of it. Your parents worked themselves to exhaustion for you. Your mother would come home and pump breast milk between conference calls. Your father would stay up until midnight doing financial planning after 10-hour workdays. Every penny they saved thinking of your future. Grandma's expression grew more serious. I know about Alexander, Leo. I know you love him. I hope he's treating you well. I hope he sees what I see. A beautiful soul and a beautiful body, someone precious and irreplaceable. But if he's not, if he's hurt you, please note you deserve better. Don't settle for someone who doesn't cherish you the way your parents would have cherished you. And, Leo, that family your father saved, I've kept in touch with them over the years. The mother writes to me every year on the anniversary of the accident. That little boy is grown now, doing well. His name is James Park. I don't know if you'll ever meet him, but I wanted you to know his name, to know that your father's sacrifice created another life full of possibility. My heart stopped. James Park, the pediatrician I'd met. Could it be the same person? Mr. Park had said there were more videos. I scrolled through the files with shaking hands. One was labeled, "For when he's in pain." I clicked it. Grandma appeared again, older now, clearly sick. This must have been recorded near the end. Leo, my sweet boy, if you're watching this, you're hurting. I can feel it even from beyond. A grandmother knows when her grandson's heart is breaking. I clutched a pillow, my body shaking with sobs. I want to tell you about the darkest moment in my life. After I lost your mother, my only child, I didn't want to live. The grief was so enormous I couldn't breathe around it. I would wake up and for a split second forget she was gone, then reality would crash back in and I'd have to survive losing her all over again. I planned it, Leo. I planned to end my life. I had the pills ready. I wrote the note. I couldn't see a future where the pain stopped. Then you cried. You were in your crib in the next room and you cried. Just a normal baby cry, nothing special. But I heard it, and something in me knew if I left you'd have no one. You'd already lost your parents. I couldn't let you lose me too. So I flushed the pills, I tore up the note, and I chose to live for you. Every single day, even when it hurt, I chose you. Her eyes were so full of love, it hurt to see. Whatever pain you're in right now, please choose life. Choose tomorrow. Choose yourself. The hurt feels permanent, but I promise you it's not. You will laugh again. You will love again. You will wake up one day and realize you're happy, and the happiness won't feel like a betrayal of your grief. It'll feel like a tribute to everyone you've lost. Your parents didn't sacrifice everything so you could give up. They fought for your future. Honor them by living it. Live it so fully, so joyfully that your happiness echoes across the veil and reaches us wherever we are. She coughed, weak with illness. I don't have long now. The doctors say weeks, maybe days. I'm not afraid. I'm going to see your mother again, your father. We'll be waiting for you, Leo, but not for a long, long time. You have so much life to live first. Be brave, my darling, be strong, and know that every step you take, you walk with the love of everyone who came before you. The video ended. I cried until my body had nothing left. Then I cried more. The next morning, Mr. Park called. Leo, I apologize for the short notice, but there's one final item, a lockbox your grandmother kept in our office safe. She specified you should receive it after viewing the first video. I went immediately. The lockbox was small, ornate, clearly old. Inside was a single letter in my mother's handwriting, dated 3 days before the accident. My hands shook as I unfolded it. My dearest Leo, you're sleeping in your crib as I'm writing this. Your father just kissed your forehead and whispered, "Good night, little lion." He calls you that because you have this tiny, fierce cry that sounds like a roar. I'm writing this because tomorrow isn't promised. Your father and I work with numbers, with risk assessment. We know that every time we get in a car, there's a chance we don't come home. So I'm writing this now while I can. So you'll always know, you are loved beyond measure. Everything we do, every late night, every missed dinner, every extra hour worked, it's all for you. We're building you a foundation so strong that even if we're gone, you'll never fall. Your father made me promise that if anything happens to us, you'll know this. We chose to bring you into this world, and we choose it again 1,000 times. You are not a burden, you are not an obligation, you are our greatest joy. I hope I get to see you grow up. I hope I get to teach you to ride a bike and help you with your homework and embarrass you in front of your first crush. I hope I get to be there for all of it. But if I can't, if something happens, please know that every moment I had with you was precious. 8 months of being your mother has been the greatest privilege of my life. Be kind, Leo. Be brave. Stand up for people who can't stand up for themselves. Love deeply, even when it's scary, and know that wherever I am, I'm proud of you. Your father wants to add something. Leo, it's your dad. Your mom is crying now. Happy tears, she says. I don't have her way with words, so I'll keep it simple. You're my son, and you're perfect. If I get 1,000 more years with you, or only 1,000 more days, I'll spend every single one making sure you know you're loved. Take care of your grandma for us. She's strong, but she'll need you as much as you need her. We love you, little lion. We'll always love you. Mom and Dad. The letter fell from my hands. They knew. On some level, they knew death was possible, and they'd still chosen every moment with me. They'd still worked themselves to exhaustion. They'd still planned for my future. They'd still loved me with everything they had. And in their final moment, facing another family with another baby, my father had made the same choice. Protect the child. I couldn't stop thinking about what Grandma had said. James Park, the family my father saved. I looked him up that night. Social media made it easy to find details. James Park, pediatrician, age 24, born 6 months before me. The math worked out. The next day, I went to the community center where I'd first met him, my heart in my throat.
He was there, organizing supplies for the health clinic, his warm smile appearing when he saw me. Leo, I wasn't expecting to see you today. James, I need to ask you something. My voice shook. This is going to sound strange, but when you were 6 months old, were you in a car accident? His smile faded. How did you know that? What date was it? December 15th. I don't remember it, obviously, but my parents told me the story. A drunk driver, a rainy night. My father was driving. Another car swerved to avoid hitting us. The driver of that car, he died, saving my family, saved me. The world tilted. That driver was my father. The color drained from James' face. What? My parents died that night. They swerved to avoid hitting your car. My father saw your family, saw you, and chose to save you instead of themselves. James staggered backward, his hand finding a chair for support. Oh my God, Leo, your parents, they're the reason I'm alive. My grandmother knew. She stayed in touch with your family. She told me in a video message. Your mother writes to her every year. She does, James whispered. Every year, my mom writes to the family of the man who saved us. She never got responses, but she keeps writing because she needs them to know. She needs to say thank you. We stood there, two young men whose lives had been forever intertwined by a split-second decision made in the rain 24 years ago. Leo, how do I even... He was crying now. Your father gave everything so I could live. And I didn't even know your name. He made a choice, I said, my own tears flowing. He saw another family and chose compassion. That's who he was. That's who my parents were. James crossed the room and pulled me into a hug. We stood there, crying together. Two lives bound by sacrifice and loss and the impossible weight of survivor's guilt mixed with gratitude. I'm so sorry, he kept saying. I'm so sorry you lost them. I'm glad you lived, I said, and meant it. If my father had to make that choice, I'm glad he saved you. You became a doctor. You helped children. You're living a life that honors his sacrifice. When we finally pulled apart, James wiped his eyes. My parents need to meet you. They've wanted to thank your family for 24 years. My mom, Leo, she's going to cry for days. I'd like to meet them too. James's parents' home was modest but warm, filled with photos of James growing up, every moment a gift my father had given them. When Mrs. Park opened the door and saw me, she knew immediately. Maybe it was my eyes. I had my mother's eyes. "You're her son," she whispered. "You're their son." "I'm Leo." She collapsed. Her husband caught her, and they both stood there, holding each other and crying. "Come in," Mr. Park finally said. "Please come in." We sat in their living room, and they told me everything about that night. "It was raining so hard we could barely see," Mrs. Park said. "James was crying in his car seat. We were almost home. Then the drunk driver crossed into our lane. Your father's car was coming from the opposite direction. He could have swerved away from both of us. There was room on the shoulder. But if he had, the drunk driver would have hit us head on. So he swerved toward the drunk driver instead. He took the impact meant for us. The police said he died instantly. So did your mother. The drunk driver survived with minor injuries. We went to the funeral. Your grandmother was there, holding you. You were so small. I wanted to thank her, but what do you say? Thank you for your son-in-law killing himself to save my family? There are no words big enough. So I started writing letters, every year on the anniversary, telling her about James's life, his first steps, his first day of school, every milestone that he got to have because your father chose us. She pulled out a box from under the coffee table. Inside were copies of every letter she'd sent over 24 years. I didn't know if she read them, I didn't know if she kept them, but I needed her to know that his sacrifice mattered, that it meant something. She read them all, I said softly. She kept them all. She told me about you in a video message. She wanted me to know that my father's death created life. Mrs. Park was crying again. We named James's middle name after your father, James David Park. David was your father's name, wasn't it? I nodded, unable to speak. We wanted him to carry that name, to carry that legacy, to know that he lived because someone chose compassion over survival. Mr. Park leaned forward. Leo, I need you to understand something. Not a day goes by that we don't think about your parents, not a single day. We've tried to live lives worthy of their sacrifice. We raised James to be kind, to help others, to never take his life for granted. You did, I said, looking at James. He's wonderful. He's exactly the kind of person my father would have wanted to save. We spent hours talking. They showed me photos, told me stories about James growing up, about how they'd instilled in him the values of compassion and service because of what my parents had done. There's something else, Mrs. Park said finally. We started a scholarship fund years ago, the David and Lily Chen Memorial Scholarship for children who've lost parents. We've been funding it privately, but it's helped dozens of kids get through school. You did that? My voice cracked. It was the only way we could think of to honor them, to make sure their sacrifice rippled outward, helping more children, more families. They handed me a folder with information about the scholarship. 24 years of children helped, lives changed, futures created, all because my parents had died. Over the following weeks, James and I spent more time together, but now everything was different, heavier with meaning. Every laugh James laughed, he laughed because my father died. Every child James saved as a doctor, he saved because my mother died. Every moment of his life existed in the space where my parents should have been. Do you resent me? He asked one evening. We were walking through the park, the setting sun painting everything gold. What? For being alive? For being the reason they're dead? Do you hate me for it? I stopped walking. No, God no, James. I could never. But if they hadn't saved me, they'd still be alive. You'd have grown up with parents. You wouldn't have gone through everything you went through. Your whole life would have been different. Yes, I said simply. But that's not how life works. My father made a choice in an impossible moment. He chose compassion. How could I hate you for being the recipient of his best self? I carry it, Leo, every day. The weight of being the one who lived. I know. I carry the weight of being the one they left behind. We both carry it. Maybe that's why we found each other, so we don't have to carry it alone anymore. He looked at me then, really looked at me, and I saw it. The shift. The moment friendship became something more profound, complicated, beautiful, and terrifying. I'm falling in love with you, James said quietly, and I don't know if that's allowed. I don't know if I'm allowed to love the son of the man who died for me. I'm falling in love with you too, and I don't know if it's fate or coincidence or some cosmic joke, but I know my father saved you for a reason. Maybe this is it. Maybe he knew somehow that our paths would cross, that you'd be the one to help me heal from everything I've been through. That's a lot of pressure, James said with a watery laugh. Love usually is. 2 months later, Alexander came back. I was at a charity gala, one I'd sponsored through my new company, when I saw him across the ballroom. He looked different. Not physically, he was still devastatingly handsome, but there was something dimmed in him, a weariness that hadn't been there before. Our eyes met. His widened in shock. He crossed the room like a man possessed. Leo, is that really? Hello, Alexander. My voice was steady, polite, distant. James appeared at my side, his hand gentle on my lower back. Alexander's eyes tracked the movement, and something in his face crumbled. You look incredible. I heard you started a company? How did you? He was stumbling over words, so unlike his usual confidence. I tried to find you. After I got back from London, you'd moved out, changed your number. Nobody knew where you'd gone. I'm sure you were devastated, I said dryly, between your London socialite and calling me a greedy, obese charity case on social media. He flinched as if I'd struck him. You saw that? Leo, I don't have an excuse. I was cruel, unforgivably cruel. The relationship in London was a mistake, a rebellion against my father's expectations. It crashed and burned within months. I came back hoping to find you, to apologize, to what? I asked. To explain why you systematically manipulated me into an eating disorder? To justify why you isolated and controlled me? To clarify why you discarded me like garbage the moment I wasn't convenient? No, he voice cracked. There's no explanation that makes any of it okay. I was possessive, jealous, abusive. I see that now. Therapy helped me see it. I destroyed the best thing in my life because I was so terrified of losing you that I tried to make you into someone nobody else would want. And then I hated what I created and blamed you for it. Leo, I am so incredibly sorry. James's hand tightened on my back. Who's this? Alexander asked, his voice brittle. This is James Park, I said. He's everything you weren't, and he's connected to me in ways you can't even imagine. Connected how? I took a breath. My father died saving his life. 24 years ago, my parents swerved to avoid his family's car. They chose to save him instead of themselves. And now somehow, we found each other. And he treats me the way I deserve to be treated all along. Alexander's face went white. Your father saved you? Yes. And unlike you, James sees my worth. He doesn't try to change me or control me or make me smaller so he can feel bigger. He celebrates me. He supports me. He loves me. I loved you, he whispered. No, I said firmly. You love the idea of owning me. There's a difference. Could there ever be a chance? He started. No. The word was gentle but final. You taught me an important lesson, though. You taught me what I will never accept again. You showed me that love without respect is just possession. That beauty, poisoned by control, becomes ugliness. For that lesson, paradoxically, I'm grateful.
Alexander's eyes were red now, tears threatening to spill. I've been in therapy for 8 months, working on my issues with control, with my fear of abandonment. My therapist thinks it stems from my childhood, parents who were never there, who only showed affection when I achieved something. I learned to hold tight to anything I loved because I was terrified it would leave. That's not an excuse, I said quietly. Understanding why you hurt someone doesn't undo the hurt. I know that, but I need you to know I'm trying to be better. I volunteer now at a center for eating disorders. I talk to young men about toxic relationships, about control disguised as love. I'm trying to make sure no one else does what I did to you. There was something broken in his voice that made my chest ache despite everything. That's good, Alexander. I'm glad you're getting help. I hope you become the person you should have been. My mother asked about you, he said suddenly. She was furious when she found out what happened, what I did. She said you were the best thing that ever happened to our family, and I destroyed it. She still has the photos of us on her desk. She said you made me human. I hadn't expected that. Mrs. Zhao had always been kind to me, treating me like the son she'd hoped Alexander would bring home permanently. Tell her I'm well, I said. Tell her I'm happy. I can tell her myself, a voice said behind us. We all turned. Mrs. Zhao stood there, elegant as always, but her eyes were puffy. She'd been crying. Leo, she said, her voice breaking, my beautiful boy, what my son did to you? Mrs. Zhao, no, let me speak. She stepped closer. I didn't know. I didn't know what he was doing to you, how he was controlling you, hurting you. If I had known, I would have stopped it. I would have thrown him out and kept you instead. Alexander made a wounded sound. You were the best thing that came into our family. You made Alexander laugh. You made him kind. And then you left, and he came back from London a shell of himself. It took months before he finally told me the truth, what he'd done, how he'd treated you. She reached into her purse and pulled out an envelope. I wrote you a letter every week after you left, 73 letters. I didn't know where to send them, so I kept them, hoping one day I'd see you again. She pressed the envelope into my hands. You don't have to read them, you don't owe us anything, but I needed you to know you were loved in that house. By me, by May, even by my husband, though he'd never say it. You brought light into our cold mansion. I looked down at the thick envelope, my vision blurring. "I'm sorry I wasn't a better mother to Alexander," she whispered. "I'm sorry I didn't teach him how to love without hurting. I'm sorry you paid the price for my failures. Mrs. Zhao, you weren't responsible. I was his mother. I taught him that love was transactional, that affection had to be earned, that showing emotion was weakness. I created the monster that hurt you, even if I didn't mean to." James squeezed my hand and I drew strength from it. "Thank you for the letters," I said. "I'll read them, and I hope Alexander continues getting help. I hope he becomes the person he should have been." "He will," she said fiercely. "I'm making sure of it, even if I have to drag him to therapy myself every week for the next 10 years. Alexander was crying openly now, his perfect composure shattered. "I'm so sorry, Leo. I'm so fucking sorry. I destroyed the best thing in my life, and I have to live with that every day. Seeing you here, happy, healthy, with someone who treats you right, it's what you deserve. But God, it hurts." "Good," I said, not unkindly. "It should hurt. That pain is how you know you're becoming better. Don't waste it." That night, back in my apartment with James, I remembered. There were more videos. One was labeled, "For When His Heart Was Broken." I looked at James. "My grandmother left videos for different moments in my life. There's one for heartbreak. Do you want to watch it with me?" "Are you sure? That seems private. You're part of this now. You're part of everything." We curled up on the couch and I pressed play. Grandma appeared looking frailer than in the first video. This must have been one of the last ones she recorded. "Oh, my darling boy. Someone broke your heart, didn't it? I can feel it even from here. The world feels darker. The pain feels endless. You wonder if you'll ever be whole again." I leaned into James, tears already falling. "I want to tell you about your grandfather. I haven't talked about him much because losing him nearly destroyed me. He died when your mother was 10. Heart attack. No warning. One day he was there, and the next he wasn't. I was angry at him for leaving, at God for taking him, at the world for continuing to spin when mine had stopped. I didn't think I'd ever love again. I didn't think I'd ever want to. But here's what I learned, Leo. The heart is not a finite resource. It doesn't run out of love. It expands. Every person you love makes room for the next. Losing your grandfather didn't mean I couldn't love again. It meant I learned how precious love is, how to cherish it while it lasts." She leaned closer to the camera. "Whoever broke your heart, let them go with grace. Don't carry bitterness. It will poison every good thing that comes after. Feel the pain, acknowledge it, and then choose to believe in love again. Because you will love again, Leo. You will meet someone who sees you the way you deserve to be seen. Someone who celebrates your light instead of trying to dim it. Someone who makes you feel safe instead of small. And when you find that person, hold them close. Tell them you love them every day. Don't assume there will be tomorrow. Your parents taught me that. Every moment is borrowed. Every kiss is a gift. Treat it that way." She touched the screen again, her hand trembling with age. "You come from love, Leo. You were born from it, raised in it, surrounded by it. Don't let one person's inability to love you properly make you forget that. You are infinitely lovable. Never doubt that." The screen faded to black. James was crying beside me. "Your grandmother was an incredible woman." She was. I wiped my eyes. And she was right about everything. About letting go of bitterness, about believing in love again. "Is that what you're doing?" James asked softly. "Believing in love again?" "I think I am. With you. If you'll have me, all of me. The broken parts, the healing parts, the parts still figuring out how to be whole." "I love all your parts," James said. "The broken ones most of all because they show how strong you are. You survived things that would have destroyed most people. You're still standing, still kind, still open to love. That's extraordinary. My father saved you so you could save me. Or maybe he saved me so we could save each other." A week later, I finally opened Mrs. Zhao's envelope. 73 letters, each dated, each telling me about Alexander's decline, about the family's regret, about her hope that I was happy somewhere. One letter was different. It was sealed in a separate envelope labeled, "From Alexander's therapy homework." Inside was a letter in Alexander's handwriting, clearly written and rewritten many times based on the crossouts and tear stains. "Leo, my therapist made me write this. She said I need to take full accountability for what I did to you. No excuses, no justifications, just truth. I abused you. I see that now. I manipulated you, controlled you, isolated you, and then blamed you for the prison I created. I told myself I was protecting you, that my jealousy was love, that my control was care. I was lying to myself. The truth is, I was terrified that if you ever saw yourself clearly, saw how incredible you are, you'd leave. So I tried to make you ugly. I tried to make you unlovable to everyone but me. It's the cruelest thing I've ever done, and I did it to the person I claim to love most. I don't expect forgiveness, I don't deserve it, but I need you to know none of it was your fault. Not the weight gain, not the addiction, not the abuse. It was all me. My sickness, my brokenness. You were perfect, and I tried to destroy that perfection because I couldn't believe it would stay with me otherwise. I'm working on myself. I'm in therapy 3 times a week. I volunteer with survivors of domestic abuse. I speak at universities about toxic relationships, about control disguised as love. I'm trying to make sure no one else does what I did to you. I saw you at the gala with James. The way he looked at you, that's how I should have looked at you. With pride, with joy, with celebration. Instead, I looked at you with fear and hunger and the desperate need to own. You deserve James. You deserve someone who builds you up instead of tearing you down. Someone who trusts you instead of surveilling you. Someone who loves the real you, not the diminished version they tried to create. I hope you're happy, Leo. I mean that. Even though it kills me, even though I lie awake at night thinking about what we could have been if I hadn't been so broken, I hope you're deliriously, completely, perfectly happy. You were the best thing that ever happened to me, and destroying you is my greatest shame. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Alexander. I read the letter 3 times, then put it in a box with my grandmother's videos and my parents' letter. Artifacts of pain that had shaped me but no longer defined me. 6 months later, I stood at a podium in front of a crowded auditorium. Press cameras flashed. James sat in the front row, smiling encouragingly. Thank you all for coming, I began. Today, I'm announcing the expansion of the David and Lily Chen Memorial Scholarship, a program started by the Park family to honor my parents. I looked at James's parents in the audience and they smiled through tears. My parents died 24 years ago saving another family. They made an impossible choice in an impossible moment. They chose compassion over survival. Their sacrifice created ripples that are still spreading today. The boy they saved became a pediatrician. He saved countless children's lives. The scholarship they inspired has helped hundreds of students. And now with my company's resources, we're expanding nationwide. Every year, we'll provide full scholarships to 100 students who've lost parents. We'll give them what my parents tried to give me, a foundation strong enough to build a future on. I paused, emotion threatening to overwhelm me. I want every child who's lost someone to know your tragedy doesn't define your destiny. Your pain can transform into purpose. Your loss can become someone else's gain. That's what my parents taught me, even though I never got to meet them. That's what my grandmother reinforced every day of her life. That's what the parks demonstrated by turning their survival into service. And that's what I'm committing to today, turning my inheritance into impact, making sure my parents' sacrifice continues creating futures. The applause was thunderous. After the event, a young woman approached me. She couldn't have been more than 17, with hollow eyes that I recognized, the eyes of someone who'd lost too much too soon.
Mr. Chen, I just wanted to say thank you. I lost both my parents last year. Car accident. I didn't think I'd be able to afford college, but your scholarship, it's giving me a future. I took her hands. What's your name? Maya. Maya, listen to me. Your parents loved you enough to give you everything they could while they were here. Honor them by living fully, by being happy, by building something beautiful from the broken pieces. Can you do that? She nodded, crying. Then you're already honoring them. The scholarship is just helping you keep your promise. 2 years later, and James and I stood in a garden overlooking the ocean, surrounded by everyone who mattered. James's parents sat in the front row crying happy tears. Mrs. Zhao was there too, dabbing at her eyes with a handkerchief. Even Alexander had come, keeping a respectful distance, genuinely happy for us in a way that spoke to real healing. Marcus Chen, the boy I'd defended years ago in that school courtyard, was my best man. He'd rebuilt his life after his father's incarceration, starting a nonprofit for children of incarcerated parents. You saved me, he said when I asked him to stand beside me. Not just that day, but every day after. You taught me that who we become isn't determined by where we come from. The officiant smiled at us. Marriage is an act of profound faith. It's choosing to build a future with someone when tomorrow is never promised. James and Leo understand this better than most. Their very existence together is a testament to impossible choices made in impossible moments. I looked at James, this man whose life began when my parents ended, and felt nothing but gratitude. Leo, James said when it was his turn for vows, your father saved my life before I had a chance to live it. I've spent 26 years trying to be worthy of that sacrifice, but nothing I've ever done made me feel as worthy as the moment you chose to love me. His voice broke. You taught me that healing isn't linear, that strength isn't about never breaking. It's about putting yourself back together, again and again, until the broken pieces become art. You are the most beautiful art I've ever seen. I promise to celebrate you every day, to never make you small, to hold your light without trying to dim it, to love you the way you deserve to be loved all along, wholly, freely, fiercely. Now it was my turn, and I could barely see through my tears. James, my parents died the night they were coming home to hold me. That's the last thing my mother said to my grandmother. We can't wait to hold our baby boy. They never got that chance. But somehow, impossibly, their sacrifice led me to you. You hold me the way I think they would have, with tenderness and strength and unconditional acceptance. Through you, I feel them. Their love finds its way to me through your hands. I promise to honor your life by living mine fully, to never take our tomorrow for granted, to wake up grateful every single day that your parents drove that road 26 years ago, that my father saw your family and chose compassion, that every impossible thing had to happen exactly as it did to lead us to this moment. I carry so many people in my heart, my parents, my grandmother, everyone I've lost, but you've taught me that carrying the dead doesn't mean we can't dance. It means we dance for them too. There wasn't a dry eye in the garden. We exchanged rings, mine engraved with "From Broken Pieces, Beauty," his with "Life from Sacrifice, Love from Loss." "I now pronounce you married," the officiant said. "You may kiss your husband." And we did, while everyone we loved cheered, while the sun set over the ocean, while somewhere beyond sight, I imagined my parents and grandmother smiling. On our wedding night, in the hotel room overlooking the ocean, James handed me a small box. "Your grandmother left this with my mother years ago. She said to give it to you on your wedding day." Inside was one last USB drive. We sat together on the bed and I pressed play. Grandma appeared, so thin now, clearly at the very end. This must have been one of her last days. "My darling Leo, if you're watching this, you're getting married. Oh, how I wish I could be there. How I wish I could see you in your suit, see your face when you say I do, see the person you've chosen to build a life with. I hope they're good to you. I hope they see your worth. I hope they make you laugh and hold you when you cry and kiss you until you're breathless. I hope they give you everything I wished for you." She smiled, peaceful, despite the pain she must have been in. "I need to tell you something I've kept secret your whole life. Something your mother told me the day before she died." My breath caught. She called me that afternoon. She said, "Mom, I had the strangest dream last night. I dreamed that Leo was grown, standing in a garden by the ocean, getting married. He was so happy, Mom, so loved. And I wasn't there to see it, but somehow I was still there. Through everyone who loved him, I was there." I told her it was just a dream, that of course she'd be there for your wedding, but she said, "I don't know, Mom. It felt real. It felt like a promise. Like even if I'm gone, he'll be okay. He'll find love. He'll find happiness." And she was right. So if you're in a garden by the ocean, my love, if this is exactly what she dreamed, know that she saw this moment. She knew you'd be happy. She knew you'd be loved. And she was right. Your parents aren't gone, Leo. They live in every choice you make, every kindness you show, every moment of joy you experience. They live in the scholarship students you help. They live in James, the boy your father saved. They live in you. And I'll live in you too. Every time you stand up for someone being hurt, every time you choose compassion over convenience, every time you love without holding back. That's me. That's your mother. That's your father. That's all of us loving you forward into your future. She pressed both hands to the screen. "Be happy, my precious boy. Dance at your wedding. Laugh until your stomach hurts. Kiss your husband under the stars. Make love, make memories, make a life so beautiful it justifies every sacrifice made to get you here. And know that when your time comes, not for many, many years, we'll all be waiting. Your mother will finally get to hold her baby boy. Your father will get to meet the man you became. And I'll get to hear every story I missed. But not yet, not for a long, long time. You have so much living to do first. I love you, Leo. We all love you, forever and always. Now stop crying and go dance with your husband." The screen went black. James and I held each other, crying and laughing at the same time. "She saw it," I whispered. "My mother saw this. She knew." "Then let's make sure it's everything she dreamed," said James. We went back to the reception where our friends and family were still celebrating. The DJ was playing something upbeat, and Marcus was attempting to dance, making everyone laugh. Mrs. Zhao grabbed my hand as we passed. "Your grandmother showed me that video before she died. She wanted me to know your mother's dream. She wanted me to make sure we held the wedding in a garden by the ocean, even if we didn't know why. She wanted your mother's vision to come true." "You knew?" I was stunned. "We all knew. Everyone who loved you worked together to make sure this day was perfect. That's what family does." I looked around at the people surrounding me, James's parents, who had loved me like a son, Mrs. Zhao and May, who still claimed me as family despite everything with Alexander, Marcus and the scholarship recipients who had become my friends, everyone connected by love and loss and the intricate web of choices that had brought us all together. "Dance with me," James said, pulling me onto the floor. And we danced for us, for our future, for everyone we'd lost and everyone who'd made sure we found each other. Somewhere, I knew, my parents were dancing too. My grandmother was smiling. And all the impossible moments that had brought me here, the accident, the sacrifice, the pain, the healing, the love, they were all dancing with us. From broken pieces, beauty. From sacrifice, life. From loss, love. From tragedy, triumph. And from two boys whose life should never have intersected, whose connection was written in rain and blood and impossible choices, a future bright enough to justify it all. For everyone who carries the dead while learning to dance, for everyone who's been broken and chose to become beautiful, for everyone who believes that love, real love, is worth every risk, every pain, every impossible moment it takes to find it, and for every parent who never got to see their child grow up, you're there anyway. In every moment of joy, every act of kindness, every choice they make that echoes your love, you're always there.